Oh my god! It's a Twin Blades variant. There's a Maelstrom on the backside. Phantom's picking up more kills, finds Andrew as well as a triple. Oh, look at Tahaka. Finds the Abathur top lane 6. Great Ring of Frost connecting on the 4 members. We might have a comeback for the ages. You hate to see it. You hate to see it. Will they be able to escape? ETC does fall. What a counter attack by Regen Red, and he's gonna barely get away with his friggin' teleport ability. Holy shit! That was really spicy. Sorry, having fun with these teams in the lobby right now, but welcome everyone, welcome back. We're in the second half of our double header. Murda and Btrain are here bringing you the action. What's up again, Btrain?
Oh, you know, another day, another 12 tacos, and another wonderful game number 1 today.
I'm really having fun. We got Can't Counterpick Stupid and Dive Hard from Division C West showing up right now for this matchup, and quite the matchup indeed, as both these teams are towards the top of this division.
Yeah, it'll be fireworks for sure. And this first map is one of the more interesting maps that you can use to size teams up, as it's got a little bit of everything in it. So I'm really looking forward to seeing these teams kick this off.
So these teams sit in the standings currently in places 1 and 2. 8 points for Dive Hard, 7 points for Can't Counterpick Stupid, both through 3 matches played and have 2 dominations apiece. Definitely 2 teams to look out for in Division C West, and tonight they clash. Only one's gonna go ahead and claim that tiebreaker scenario for late in the season if it comes down to it, so a lot potentially on the line here tonight in week number 3.
Yeah, a match that's going to have indications and complications possibly leading into the later stages of the season if their records stay as close as they are. So we'll see if everybody's like completely locked in and ready to go tonight.
Indications, complications, and dare I say implications that this match will be outstanding, and I'm super stoked for it.
subbed in an AI.
Did they really?
No, but they're messing with them.
So obviously we are here, guys, waiting in our lobby. There's some good action going on in the meantime. I got my eye over on twitch.tv/mongoose_22 as Calculated Throw and Regen Red find themselves in a game number 3, currently on Tomb of the Spider Queen, and very even match, tied up at level 14. So if you want to catch the tail end of that while we're waiting, certainly a good one to check out.
Yeah, and the current state of that game, I think it's actually pretty close. Yeah, it is pretty close. And, you know, we obviously know you're pulling for regen. Your alliances are a little skewed, but it's okay. I'm still cheering for my boys in blue. Calculated Throw. I think they can pull this out.
Well, it's going to be close. It looks like Regen Red's going to try to grab a boss here late after picking up a quad kill. So maybe enough with a turn-in and boss at the 12:30 mark over on Tomb of the Spider Queen. Enough to get themselves a keep down, but they got to match some pressure, it looks like. That's been started up by Calculated Throw in that top lane, too. Still here waiting for one more hero from Can't Counterpick Stupid. Almost called them Calculated Throw. And once we get that last player here, we'll be back bringing you action from this game. But in the meantime, we're going to take a short break, head on back to our away screen, and once we find out more information, we'll be right back here, ready to get started with game number 1. All right, we're back. I just caught the end of the Regen Red match and ended with Regen Red picking up their second win of the season. This one comes over Calculated Throw. Congratulations to my boys over with Regen Red. Recycle's got to be stoked after what looked like could have been a complete loss after Game 2 and Game 3 not going their way in the early part.
Yeah, and we did have an update for our 5th and final member for Can't Counterpick Stupid. They are online now, so I believe that they're getting all the cobwebs out of their computer and getting Heroes of the Storm booted up, so hopefully not too much longer.
I'm going to show off on stream. Pretty proud of this one, my Pizza Planet t-shirt. And shout out to all you Toy Story fans out there. If you're part of the analyst team, I know we had a rousing discussion this past week talking about some Disney movies, so I know there's some Disney fans out there, especially Toy Story. I know they're coming out with Toy Story 4 later on this summer. I'm stoked on that. Btrain, you grew up with any Disney movies?
Not really. I grew up working in a field with hay and cows.
Oh, God. I feel bad. Technically, I got my Star Wars hat on, too. That's a Disney franchise.
Dang.
But
yeah, I didn't do too many Disney movies.
Really? Interesting. Yeah, I mean, imagine most people get to live the early childhood dream of the Disney lifestyle, but you, well, I mean, not the same?
I was into Shrek, man. Shrek was my movie. That's okay. DreamWorks, right?
DreamWorks, close.
Yeah. Shrek was my boy. I probably watched that movie like 400 times from the time I was like 4 to the time I was 8.
Eddie Murphy and Mike Myers, right?
Pretty decent unit of a combo, but Kung Fu Panda is probably like my favorite like cartoon movie to watch.
All right, so here's our last update. Finally, we have Osprey here joining us in the lobby. Our 10th player has arrived. So I've thrown out my R in this lobby, and hopefully our teams are ready as well. And we're going to get started. Game number 1, and it's going to be Infernal Shrines, which I believe was the map selection, if they have it correct, the map selection of Dive Hard. Oh, no, sorry, can't counterpick stupid.
Ooh, I was about to get you with that caster's curse.
Yeah. Don't ask me to read things. Turd Herder's here from the analyst team. He knows about the Disney discussion this week. What's up, Turd Herder?
All right, so Infernal Shrines, we've seen it once today already. You know, it's a map that emphasizes a little bit of everything. You need macro, you need wave clear, you need the ability to rotate quickly, maybe get some picks, and ultimately there are team fights around objectives. But yeah, and we see Gul'dan. They must be afraid that Btrain guy is on can't counterpick stupid. Heads up play by them.
You know, I love it. You pick heroes, you do damage, you win the game, and you know, sometimes you just got to throw out the Gul'dan ban early on Infernal Shrines. Yeah, and this is, I thought there was a problem. So I actually had asked these teams to swap sides for the overlay, but they didn't change the draft team. So we're gonna do a take 2 on that. I'll send this back to our caster screen for just a few seconds here.
Wait, so you were actually right about who had first or who picked the map? What?
That's what I wasn't sure if they, because I asked them to switch sides for the overlay, and then I didn't see if they swapped who the first draft team should be or not. I guess they didn't, so.
You hate to see it.
Yeah, it's okay. Currently 10:38 p.m. on the East Coast, but if you guys know Btrain, he's coming to you live from Alaska. I don't even know what that time zone is, but
it's the Alaskan Standard Time. It's 4 hours. It's 6:30 for me.
Alaskan Standard Time. You heard it here first, ladies and gents.
Yeah, it's the sun's still up, kind of ish.
God,
it's been raining all day. No, that's not till later. It does stay up until like 2 a.m., which is kind of crazy.
Turd Herder in chat asking if I like Big Hero 6. That was actually a recommendation from Arthur that I watched just the other day. And yes, the blah la 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 la. That was probably our favorite part. What a great movie. I loved it. I thought it was deserving of the Oscar that it won for Best Animated Film last year. Or was it 2 years ago? But either way, yeah. Fantastic movie. I loved it.
They're asking if we're ready. I think we are, though, yeah?
Oh, yeah. I'm chatting you guys up.
Yeah. We're taking care of the people, but, you know, they're out here making sure that we're ready to go, and we're always ready.
I just heard, like, the thud noise, but didn't see anything happen.
I did, too, yeah.
Oh, there we go. All right, back to our draft, Infernal Shrines. It is the map pick of Dive Hard. So first ban is Can't Counterpick Stupid. We saw the Gul'dan kind of teased earlier, but we don't know if that's going to go the same way or not here.
So yeah, I'm really interested to see what the first ban is going to be from Dive Hard. We saw them elect to ban the Gul'dan in draft number 1. We'll see what they do here in draft number 1.5.
Draft number 1.5. I don't think I've ever been in a draft number 1.5 before.
It's not quite draft number 2, but
it's not draft number 1 either, is it?
No, that's why it's 1.5.
5 seconds for our first ban, and Can't Counterpick Stupid taking the whole clock, taking away a Phoenix. Hey, Btrain, we talked privately before, and you mentioned Phoenix. Is this a target ban or not?
This is so much of a target ban, I can't even keep my pants on. This target ban is absolutely magnanimously tremendous against Tin.
I don't have to update my book. I already wrote down Gul'dan, and Gul'dan will stay in my book. Thank you, Dive Hard. So potentially more target bans here. 10 seconds for Can't Counterpick Stupid to make that decision. But I mean, I don't know what the scouting report looks like for them, but I'd imagine there's some pretty good tape on their opponents, and it appears to be another target ban because Kel'Thuzad in the top half you don't see too often.
I talked about this one too. I shouldn't have casted Dive Hard's last game. Both of those heroes were ones that they picked and did really well with, and I feel like I'm kind of to blame for them getting target banned out here.
So 2 heroes taken away that Dive Hard wanted to see. Now they have their second decision for their own ban, and looks like they're going to go ahead and lock in the Kael'thas, which we saw in our previous set this evening be a real beast on Infernal Shrines, where the Found Vikings were able to take it over, do it right.
And that's 4 assassins banned with the first 2 bans. Really looking to put a kind of a clamp down on that range damage as far as, you know, it's just like range damage as far as magic dealers. We have like a Jaina left, and you know, there's a couple other heroes like Cassia and stuff like that. But first pick, gonna bypass the Dibbles, the Anubarak, and we're gonna go straight to the Johanna.
You mentioned clamps. Are we gonna see them give him the clamps?
I sure hope not. If I see a Gazlo here, shout out to B-Med. Please no Gazlo here, though.
If you want to check out Gazlo, there is a outstanding matchup coming later this evening over on Mystic's channel, as we see Rhaegar and Varian being locked in here by Divehard. But later on this evening, over on Mystic's channel, it's going to be Logical Decision versus Soak Every Lane. Another, I believe they're Division C West, if I'm not mistaken. No, they're B this season.
Pretty sure they're B.
Yeah, B West. So definitely check that match out if you want to see some Gazlo play, because that should be fun. More picks. It's Lunara, and I mentioned before how well he's doing in NGS. It's Stukov for Can't Counterpick Stupid.
The early Lunara pick is interesting. It makes me wonder, like, what the rest of their damage is, or maybe if they kind of want to hold it to flex. As usually you see Lunara kind of picked in one of those like situations because she is kind of neat. She's got a small health pool. She has great poke, but just not so much like instant delete damage outside of her ultimate. So we'll see how that goes.
Cheers to Mongoose, and congratulations to Regen Red for picking up the W tonight. I was just giving you guys some props. You missed it, but huge shout out to you guys for stepping up there in Game 3 and picking up the win. We see Maiev getting banned out. This is a hero you expect to see in the first half of a ban. In the second half, of Maiev getting all the way down here and still an option. Surprising to see it. ETC is the final one here for Can't Counterpick Stupid.
Yeah, interesting ETC ban. I remember it was picked quite often in the series I've casted for Dive Hard before. And I'm pretty sure it was Mosh each of the games. I don't think it was ever Stage Dive, but we're going to see him go a Tracer into a Lunara?
That's interesting, yeah. I mean, Recall should clear out the poison, right? But still such a squishy target, and it's going to be trouble for Rhaegar to try to keep up with to begin with, not having a support like a Malfurion that has an easier time getting heals onto a mobile Tracer. But nonetheless, it is the pick. B-Med, I see you in chat. We were just talking about you, talking about Soak Every Lane and the matchup coming tonight over on Mystic Stream. So for all of you who just got here and missed me saying that, definitely make sure you go check that out later on this evening. I think it kicks off midnight Eastern, as we see Li Ming and Dahaka be the final picks here for Can't Counterpick Stupid.
I want to see what Dive Hard decides to do with this Varian. Okay, ooh. We have aggression, ladies and gentlemen.
A new subscriber has been acquired.
Arrow hitting the sub button. Welcome back, my man. Thank you, and congratulations on the win once again for you. Thank you for showing some support to your good friend Murda, and subsequently your new friend Btrain, because any friend of mine is a friend of anyone on Regen. Hey.
So you guys, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, well, I'm about to ask chat, because I'm not decided here. I kind of like both sides, aggression especially from Dive Hard, but you guys in chat, time to vote. Hashtag CCS or hashtag DH. Throw your votes out for these teams and help us decide who had the better end of this draft here in game number 1.
I'm going to wait until I see Varian's level 4 before I decide. If it is C-Smash, I am rolling with Dive Hard. If it is Twin Blades, I'm going to give it over to Can't Counterpick Stupid.
Who's your target on that C-Smash that you're really looking to blow up? Just get Li Ming out of the fight early so resets aren't an option, or what are you looking for out of that C-Smash?
It's literally everyone but Johanna.
Okay.
And Dahaka, ideally. Like, if Dahaka burns the burrow, you can go after him, but with, if you still got burrow up, you can't really make that play. But with C-Smash, Mirage and Tracer alone, all three of those backliners are toast for CCS.
Ladies and gentlemen, over on the blue side here for our matchup tonight, we got Li Ming, played by Thorin Keladorn on the Stukov. We got Silma playing Dahaka, Valkymer playing Johanna, and last but not least on Lunara will be Osprey. They are Can't Counterpick Stupid.
And on the right, in the top lane, for Dive Hard in the red, we have Tin on Varian, Nuck on the Tracer, Gunslinger on the Beetle, Curly on the Kerrigan, and Wise Guy on Ray God.
I'm super thrilled because reading this name on Tracer has me getting excited to see Nuck do some pew pew pew.
Oh my goodness. We're actually going to see Dahaka go into the enhanced agility, so looking to have that move speed and the increased mobility and ganking ability, which is actually really interesting to see.
A lot of patience early game so far. No one really wanting to make the first move into the lane. Eventually it's Valkymer on Johanna who made that move and got the early clear and quicker rotation down to the bottom where Nuck already started up here for Dive Hard.
Yeah, and we see a new burning the burrow to go in there. Not really taking too much punishment. Something that, with the full 4-man, will be extremely lethal here in this early game.
Camp's activating. No one moving at it quite yet. Back at the mid lane, we see Can't Counterpick Stupid continuing this rotation effectively. And up top, winning a matchup with their Dahaka against this pre-level 4 Varian, which is going just the plan for them there.
Varian going into overpower at 1, which makes me think we are going to get a C-Smash.
Potential taunt, do you think, is an option here too? Having that lockdown with the Nubarak, the follow-up CC that can come from Kerrigan. Do you think a taunt becomes maybe a priority just to get those pickoffs?
So the overpower level 1 with taunt is a fantastic pick for a main tank variant, as I think it gives you a little bit more value than the Lion's Maul, considering you're going to get guaranteed synergy. As at the bottom, we have the Burrow charge in, and Nuck going to drop the Pulse Bomb on Keladorn. Bio kill switch, gonna save him. Recall is used, trading a couple cooldowns and the Pulse Bomb there. Nobody decides to pass away.
Yeah, good job by Keladorn making sure that bio kill switch was available and was able to pop it effectively just on himself there to keep Stukov alive. And looking at our XP bar, which we should have our objective being announced soon, our teams are deadlocked at level 4, locking in those talents as we speak. And really not much of an advantage anywhere for either of these teams. Still no kills, detected. 2 minutes and 30 seconds in. Thank you for the host coming in from Hunter CJR. Definitely stoked. Check out some of this action coming soon, Division S. I know Hunter's going to be playing there. And it kicks off next week. Should be a match coming on the NGS Twitch page, so keep an eye out for some announcements regarding Div S. But here we go, Shrine number 1 active in just 10 seconds, Btrain.
And Taunt actually is the pickup, so looking for that extra lockdown, not looking for the increased ability to blow someone up. They have plenty of it already with, 4 melee and essentially a 5th Rhaegar getting the wolf bites in and Tracer being so close range.
Tin has that heroic. We'll see if he has a target to use it on. So far, it's just Johanna in his face. Great silence and a drag from Dahaka, pulling him right back in. Ends up being a double kill. You see Li Ming to work, and only a little blink there, keeping Tracer alive. Almost falling was Nuck. And this invade of the Shrine was successful by Can't Counterpick Stupid. They're looking good to pick up the first Punisher of the game.
And that's going to be one of the hard things about trying to get invades onto a Stukov composition, is if you try to engage on anyone in the front line, Stukov can just drop that silence and say, nah, you guys can't fight here. And so if you don't go on to Stukov, winning any of these engages is going to be extremely difficult for Dive Hard.
Level 7s are very close for Can't Counterpick Stupid, and here comes the taunt on Lunara. Osprey surrounded, but scampering away is the deer, and she will survive. Now Johanna, played by Valkymer, trying to keep Kerrigan and Rhaegar close by, but not able to do so. Now just 2 skeletal defenders away. They're going to go ahead and grab away the Arcane Punisher here for the mid lane.
And one of the things you hate to see about such an aggressive early game comp is that it's actually falling behind now by half a level, a complete objective. That just kind of feels bad, man.
Feels bad. And Nubrak taking a ton of damage. Can't really stay in here. So not going to be a lot of front line outside this Varian. Noob actually staying really close inside those laser beams and lost all the shielding. So Johanna stepping forward. Still with the level 7. John Cena with a double stun there with the jump. But not enough follow-up even with the Lunara. Oh my god. A big calamity on top from Li Ming means another kill. And that's going to be 2 for Thorin. And 3 overall for Can't Counterpick Stupid, who have started up a little bit of a lead here in the early game.
Beat us, delete us. A noob burrowing in with about a third of his health left, eating an orb and a full missile combo to the mouth, and the beetle was no more.
Camp stolen away, a successful invade. Still one available, the neutral camp down in the bottom lane. We'll see if anyone starts that up. Yes, that's been the ping here for Can't Counterpick Stupid as Johanna on the wall, using Iron Skin to make sure the stuns aren't hitting from Curly on Kerrigan. Gonna join the team, make sure they get the camp and remain back in this lane and maybe take this fight now that they have the sappers and some lane pressure here.
Yeah, Varian going in deep, gonna get the taunt, Throwan is gonna be able to blink away. The Pulse Bomb does come out as Falcomer, getting body blocked in there by 4. Gonna get that Iron Skin, and everybody's so low for the side of Dive Hard. They can't dive any harder or they'll all die.
Oh man, those health bars. Rhaegar struggling to keep up. Part the reason why Rhaegar's fallen so far out of the meta over the past year plus. Here, not even opting for the healing totem, which is an option that can help, especially on Infernal Shrines in the pits, get some value. Not going to be the play here. Instead, going for the shields at level 4. So maybe a bit of work, a lot of struggle. I talked about not having Malfurion. Maybe Rhaegar becomes an issue as we continue through this game.
Yeah, and looking at these comps, I would have expected quite the opposite, as I thought Dive Hard was going to win really hard until about 7. And Lunara with kind of the same factor, Splintered Spear looking to really punish clumped melee comps, which when you have 4 diving heroes and then a ranged hero that also dives, Splintered Spear is going to get just loads of value.
Heroic Talents being chosen right now for Can't Counterpick Stupid. Blessed Shield locked in for Johanna, so they have an engagement tool they can use now. See if they can use it effectively. But Btrain, question for you: Rhaegar and his ultimate, is this a bloodlust composition here with the Kerrigan with the Tracer?
Bloodlust is a bit of a win harder medicine, and I don't think they're winning enough to warrant a Bloodlust pick. I think it needs to be Ancestral, because they're just getting deleted right now.
Well, we're about to find out. Level 10 so close. Shrine just announced in the top lane, where we see Dahaka and Anubrak already up there. Eyes on Rhaegar to see if he wants to pull the trigger. There's an Ultralisk from Kerrigan, still waiting to find out what Rhaegar has in his idea set right now. And I think maybe Btrain, this is a spot where they want it, but no, it's going to be the Ancestral Heal.
Yeah, we see right now just with the Varian pickup as a taunt, you don't have anybody who can truly just solo lane and just not lose the lane. Like Varian, you know, he wins in the 1v1, his wave clears kind of whatever, so he can hold his own decently though. And the fact that they don't have that hero, they've fallen behind in Soak. A lot of their lanes pushed in. They have to commit more heroes to their defense since they don't have much reliable range damage. So defending objectives is going to be extremely hard for Dive Hard.
All right, here we go. Cocoon early on Stukov, trying to pop it out. It's Lunara, and Stukov is already set free, so Heroic down, and that's a key one, as well as the taunt also being used. These warriors are going to struggle for the rest of this fight. Ancestral has to come out quasi early there onto a Nubrak, as well as this Ultralisk, which is doing damage, but not nearly enough. Once one kill starts, look for more. Li Ming trying to find it and gets a double kill, but that's going to be it. Just the 2, and dropping back into the pit is Can't Counterpick Stupid.
Li Ming with Wave of Force looking like a kid playing whack-a-mole at the arcade, just popping heads down to the ground as members try to escape for Dive Hard. And you know, Joe's sitting up here really deep. Gonna burn the Iron Skin to stop the burrow charge, and they only have 1 committed to the Shrine while they continue pressuring this top fort.
I love that the rest of the heroes are just leaving Lunara back in there, getting a little bit of supporting and help from Dahaka, but keeping the pressure in the lane so the enemies can't have an avenue to just walk up freely. Now sitting at 24 to 11, Can't Counterpick Stupid might have to think about backing out before level 13 here.
Yeah, we're going to see the big taunt coming through. The pulse bomb is going to get delivered onto Caladorn. Does fall. Thorin falling super low as well, leaving out of mana, not able to get the dominance resets. She is going to live. Careful up front. Kerrigan does fall as Johanna was locked in the cocoon that entire time. And she comes out ready to fight, as this is a 4v4 now. And Dahaka is going to get the lick onto Tin. The variant trying to escape. We're going to see Earthbind coming out. Johanna with so many slows, leaving protected just in time, dropping the spray. Tin knows exactly what position Tin is in.
That shield wall didn't just save Varian's life. It might have saved Li Ming from getting a double kill there with Hero sitting on low health. But instead, Varian lives and ultimately ends up being the second Punisher of the game for Can't Counterpick Stupid with a drag on Rhaegar. Wise Guy trying to live, hops back into Worgen form or puppy form, whatever you want to call it, and survives. What is that form called even? It's not Worgen form.
No, it's wolf form.
Wolf form. Okay.
Spirit wolf. Yeah. So Rhaegar actually, ironically, not ironically, but surprisingly, not electing to go into the cleanse at 7, electing to go Blood and Thunders. We see the taunt coming out onto Osprey. But yeah, like in situations where these Punisher jumps come out and the follow damage could be there when they're down gates, having no real cleanse makes it a lot more pressure on the tanks to get the bait and use their defensives for that.
Great rotation here from Lunara, going to be able to finish off the remaining health bar of this mid fort. So 2 structures down for Can't Counterpick Stupid. They're even going to rotate, it appears, towards his enemy camp, sitting with the Talontier lead. They shouldn't feel too afraid, especially with the Haka nearby, to take this camp, and that's exactly what they're going to do.
Stukov with a great zoning there, really forcing the split. Silence a little early as Anoob's going to burrow charge in. Caladorn sitting on this. The swipe is interrupted. The taunt comes out. Bless Shield is going to whiff completely. The Kerrigan stun is going to pull 2 in. Cocoon out. Tracer does fall, losing the untouchable stacks. This is still a 4-for-4. Ancestral is going to hit Curly in the backline. If someone's trying to get out, but we're going to see the big condemn from Valkymer. Rhaegar escaping with just a little bit of health and without Iron Skin. This looks like Johanna is going to pass here as well.
Oh, that was exactly what Dive Hard needed. A triple kill in such a play. Quality coming out from Gunslinger. Now looking for more. It's the Haka getting taunted and impaled. Jumping in Kerrigan. Can they finish off the dinosaur? Not today. Silma's gonna live. And Varian now under pressure from a big orb. But Tin gonna survive the blast and join his team trying to continue catching up in XP. They got their Tracer split out, soaking up top, and not the ideal hero in that situation either.
Yeah, they're forced to commit so hard. Tracer is their only actual range DPS, so sending her to clean those lanes is honestly quite possibly the safest choice they have outside of like an Anubarak, because she also has the most escape.
Alright, checking out this action bottom lane. Kerrigan clearing this up, keeping the only outer fort standing, which is in that bottom lane here for Dive Hard. Kerrigan and Rhaegar looking at a camp nearby is Silma on this Dahaka, but no one else from Can't Counterpick Stupid nearby. And I don't think Dahaka is going to try to make that move, but up on the Bruiser camp. Look at this, Johanna with the invade.
Yeah, and 16 to 14, Dive Hard forced to just basically hand it over. Lunch money stolen by Can't Counterpick Stupid.
You're going to pressure mid lane as top's going to be free for Varian and Tracer to clear. But with catapults here, minion wave, and knowing where their enemies are, I'd love to see this fight. Still having the blessed shield, Johanna's actually going to hold it there. Maybe wanted to rip it, but didn't, and instead back behind the wall and safe. And now with the counter engage, burrow charge on top of Stukov. He's been the target. Still no taunt, but they get the pulse bomb, and Stukov is deleted from this game right now. Johanna in the cocoon means there's no tank on the front line outside this Dahaka, which not really going to be able to provide peel for Li Ming. And you see Silma surrounded, and another kill, 5 in a row now for Dive Hard. They're finding themselves back in this game number 1 on Infernal Shrines.
That fight was down 16 talent tiers. They engaged, knowing that Lunara was bottom, and oh, Lunara, please be careful, sweet darling. Gonna get the taunt, very gonna do a little bit of damage. We see the Mortal Strike value. But yeah, they took that fight down 16, seeing Lunara bottom, and it actually worked out very much so in their favor. And they get a nice head start on this Punisher.
Oh, this is all theirs. I don't know if they get here in time. Still without Dahaka. He should have Brush Stalk, but I think it's just going to be too late. We'll see if they even want to make an attempt. But it's getting desperate now, just 10 away for Dive Hard to get this first Punisher of the game for themselves.
Yeah, we see Tin zoning up top. We're going to get the taunt doing a very respectable amount of damage as the Punisher is captured. Dahaka getting caught deep. Going to use Tunneling Claws, hit by the Burrow Charge, the Pulse Bomb. John Cena leap not here as Silva makes it out.
Yeah, that leap was close to going off and just never did. So Silva lives, had a bit of essence too to get some health back. But now it's just Punisher on the bottom fort, and this is a lot of red heroes trying to make sure this fort goes down, and looks like they're going to do exactly that as the Punisher is zoning out everyone from Can't Counterpick Stupid.
Yeah, but the Bruiser camp in the top lane is getting decent value. It finally goes down, but there are catapults building up against Dive Hard.
Yeah, I'm going
as
to poke
Tin
and look
falls
at that.
by the gate.
Yeah, I just swapped away as he fell. I was trying to show up top what these catapults are up to. It's gotten through the wall. It got through one of the turrets, maybe the second one, but appears as though it's going to be just a little bit too short.
And on the run are the members of Dive Hard with only 4 up. We're going to see the light coming out onto the Beetle. Leaping is going to go in after Burrow Charge was burned, getting into that vent. Wave of Force, and down goes the Beetle while everybody else was snatching that camp for the mid lane.
Yeah, the snatching was done by Silma playing Dahaka. Great tongue there, setting that one up on the bug. And that's a 30-second power play. Still without Varian, too. It's actually a 2-hero power play. They're moving this bottom lane. And you already saw what happened up top. They're looking at maybe knocking on the second keep wall of the game right now.
Hey, Murdo, what's Dahaka's favorite flavor of lollipop?
Oh, God. I don't know, Btrain. What is it?
Beetle.
Oh, God.
I had nothing good. I was hoping you would just let it go and you wouldn't answer, but you
I
did.
thought it was going to be like the old Tootsie Pop thing with the owl. Like, how many licks does it take? He goes, 1, a 2, a 2. Or is it? I don't know. I probably ruined that.
Tooth.
I haven't seen that commercial in like 15 years.
R.I.P. Tootsie Roll or Tootsie Pops.
Tootsie Pops are still around. They're great.
Where's the commercials though, man? I miss it. As a hold up.
Oh, maybe even talents, but it is almost a 2-level lead, close to 19. Or Can't Counterpick Stupid. I'd love to see them just maybe be a little patient before any sort of fight breaks out, making sure they have every bit of an advantage they can have. And there it is, 2 levels. So a bit more scaling for our blue team right now. We'll see if they want to take this fight.
Big taunt coming in, and immediately Lunara blown up as we see the combo as the lick coming out onto Rhaegar. Gonna use that Alt-R. Bless Shield does come out. Silence through as well. Cocoon is going to be onto the Johanna Gunslinger in the back, trying to get the stuns out for everybody. Selma trying to get the resets. Kerrigan gonna get the big combo in onto Valkymer, but hitting these tanks isn't going to do it. Taunt does come down on Johanna with the negative healing. 300 HP and falls, but Li Ming coming in with the Calamity. The resets of the lick onto Varian. He's 40 HP, sitting in the silence as Dominance coming through again and again.
Ooh, Thorin not wanting to get overly greedy there, maybe rightfully so. Finds the 2 kills and a solid defense of their mid fort. Eyes down bottom and top because Catapult's been doing some work this whole time. Down bottom, that camp's been pushing in on this keep wall, so lanes are pressured. Shrine activating in just 25 seconds. And look at this invade of the top Bruiser camp right now for Can't Counterpick Stupid. They're looking like they're charged on all cylinders right now.
Yeah, not scared of anything. They have their level 20s online, and we see the explosion kills or the explosion switch from Stukov, the Talrashas from the Li Ming, blinded by the light from Johanna, no indestructible, and we have the contagion from Dahaka. So isolation looking to get a lot of value here.
Yeah, level 20s should get a lot of value because this is a late game objective that just spawned and still a full level away or dive hard. I don't know if they're gonna want to come in this pit. But we've seen so far in this game that they're not afraid to take fights down a talent tier. All they need is a big setup from their Varian, and killing a Lunara or a Stukov like they have done would be exactly what they want to see happen right now.
Yeah, and we see them coming in, and actually see Can't Counterpick Stupid is backing out a little bit. Varian and Kerrigan flanking the long way around the back. I don't think anybody has scouted it yet. They see Varian now, of course, but they're actually giving up a very decent amount of the Shrine. Up Storm talent advantage. I'd like to see him get a little more aggressive.
They're keeping the Haka stealth in that vent. We'll see when Silma pops out, but here's the fight. And exactly what I said they needed was a quick burst down with that taunt. They get it, but they lose their Tracer and might lose more. Lucky for them, Li Ming's down, so resets aren't an option. But another drag connecting on Varian, and Tin's in trouble. The Dark Swarm should finish him off, and it does. Still in there is Gunslinger, diving in with that Burrow Charge, impaling his way through these enemy forces, and trying to walk his way back and... Looks like he will be able to get out. Wise Guy with just enough supporting, but Kerrigan getting slowed. Curly will be left to live, and it's just going to go ahead and be this Punisher, but up top as well, that Bruiser can't pick it up first keep of the game.
And in that fight, we saw even after the Li Ming fell, the glorious amounts of damage coming out from the Lunara. Unfair advantage at level 16 is quite an unfair advantage. Tacking that on with the slows, doing 60% more damage with her poisons. That's just absolutely ridiculous. And we saw it there as the health bars were all stained with that orange color indicating dots. So lots of value and synergy between those heroes.
Here we go, potentially the end of game number 1. Punisher knocking on keep number 2 and jumping over onto a Nubarak. The defense is going to try to kill this. I'm surprised they're not walking past this keep. With already one down, they can be on this core, but they don't have their Li Ming, and they're up against 5 enemy heroes. Punisher below 30% health and might fall soon, but look at Counterpick Stupid trying to finish off game number 1. Core below 50% health. A lot of poison on from Lunara. The swipes are there from Stukov and Btrain. That's going to be it. Game number 1 going to be handed over to Counterpick Stupid.
Fantastic job by them to end. That was a great controlled push from them, recognizing that all they had to do was let the Punisher do the tanking, do the leading, and that they could follow with the damage. Fantastic game from them against the ever-aggressive comp of Dive Hard that even down talent tier still got its job done.
Dude, that was just solid late game. You saw when there was like the kill streak that was starting up from Dive Hard. They had 5 kills in a row and looked like they were swinging it around using this variant taunt quite effectively. He actually led his team in hero damage throughout the entire matchup there, but they couldn't keep up with the damage coming out from Li Ming, almost 80k, and certainly a lot of plays were made by Thorin.
Yeah, and obviously I was looking at the comp and I was wondering from the side of Counterpick Stupid if the Lunara damage would be enough and the Dahaka damage would supplement that enough to allow Li Ming to come in and sweep through with the resets, and we saw it time and time again that it was. And as long as it wasn't Li Ming getting blown up in the beginning, most of those fights explosively turned against Dive Hard.
All right, so ladies and gentlemen, that's it for game number 1, but don't you sweat it, because we have more action coming up right after our break. Game number 2 between Counterpick Stupid and Dive Hard. Stay tuned. Alright, apologies during the break. Had some technical difficulties with the timer. So I think it was just about the full 3 minutes, and I went ahead and just stopped it. So welcome back, stream. Still here, joined by Btrain, and we're getting done with our game number 1 on Infernal Shrines, and it was Can't Counterpick Stupid coming up big in the late game.
Yeah, fantastic job turning their fights around and even doing well into situations where they lost somebody early and someone really important with the Li Ming in the last fight. And they were able to stay composed and just protect the Lunara and let her just dish out that poison damage. And, you know, Splintered Spear got oodles and noodles of value there. And they did a fantastic job just playing the map, too, as we saw them during objectives being able to take structures with the camps. So, you know, double grats to them for that.
Yeah, I thought both teams did a decent job keeping their eyes on some of those camps and getting over to them. We saw the one really good invade, or rather counter invade, come out from Dive Hard, which started to look like they were going to swing the game back in their favor. But they had a couple costly deaths towards the final moments of Infernal Shrines that ended up ultimately costing them game number 1. But I certainly don't think this team is out of it. Remember, they are the #1 team currently in Division C West, and they're up against this #2 team. Both are so good, and I think game number 2 should end up being even more even than game number 1 was.
Yeah, in BOE, one of those maps where the aggro style composition can definitely work again. Infernal, you know, Kerrigan has always kind of been on the line as far as being able to be picked there, even pre her last rework. And then, you know, if you want to run a similar style, maybe not like the 4, 5, or 4.5 melee, but if you want to run something aggressive like a Li Ming of your own and still like the Anubarak, you can look to take it to enemy teams on this map, especially with, you know, there's only 2 lanes and there's only so many things someone can be doing. Invades are really easy to come by.
Yeah, and you know, sometimes it can come at a premium if you can get them, and if you're on the other side, it can be very costly. Battlefield of Eternity, one of those maps that can be so unforgiving, especially if you lose the early objectives, whereas other maps, early objectives maybe not too punishing. But a big importance here on early game and drafting heroes that are good in the early game. That's kind of my strategy heading into a Battlefield of Eternity draft.
Yeah, but, you know, looking into the last draft is Dive Hard had, in my opinion, the better early game comp. So it was kind of weird to see how it all played out, you know. But honestly, it could just be kind of just, you know, a couple dominoes falling in the wrong direction for a couple team fights. And so we'll see what they choose to go with this game. All
right, ladies and gentlemen, we're getting ready for draft number 2. And here we go. It's going to be Battlefield of Eternity.
I expect to see mostly the same bans as if you're target banning. It's not really map dependent as much as it is player dependent.
Yeah, we saw Phoenix and Kel'Thuzad from Can't Counterpick Stupid. Perhaps the ETC also a target ban up against their tank player. But really focusing on taking away comforts from their opponents, which a strategy you see more often, I feel, down in these Division C, Division D matches. Maybe less so up at the top where the meta is more prevalent and really more distinct and visible within those matches. Down here, it's just, hey, let's get rid of a Phoenix and a Kel'Thuzad because we know they have a player that's going to bust us open if they draft it.
Yeah, and it's, you know, as you said, in higher levels of play, it's not something you see as often. But we're, you know, seeing picks tailor-made yet again. We see a Vala ban. As, you know, this is one of her better maps, and instantly the Phoenix retaliation from CCS. They're sticking to their guns.
So we saw Lunara in game number 1 out of Can't Counterpick Stupid. I think we're back on another map where Lunara is sometimes thought of. You get that extra damage with one of her talents at level 4, I believe. Natural Perspective, I think is the name of it.
Yeah, like Nature's Toxin or something like that.
Yeah, is it Nature's Toxin?
Oh, no, Nature's Culling.
Nature's Culling.
Yes.
Where's Enigmatic when you need him? He's my favorite Luna player.
I'm Googling right now. I will have the information shortly.
Yeah, it's one of those, but it gives you increased PvE damage, and I wouldn't be surprised if maybe they want to go back to the Lunara, who did pretty decent game number 1. You see them sticking with the bans So maybe sticking with the picks as well. We'll find out.
Nature's Culling confirmed is the name of her level 4 talent. Increases
Yay.
damage by 125% to non-heroic enemies.
Stukov, the selection taken away here. Dive Hard going to grab that support. And Stukov so far tonight, 3-0 on twitch.tv/MurdaRG. So he's been a power player this evening. Will he hold suit here in game number 2 on a team that lost game number 1? We'll find out if Curly has enough to make that happen.
Yeah, Stukov is quite a powerful support too. He's armed with lots of tools that he can use to make plays and kind of counterplay the enemy team with swipe and talents like Virulent Reaction. But we see a quick Maiev pickup from Nuck the Third.
Ooh, Nuck the Third. You know, another thing to note here is I see Curly, the one who locked in Stukov, and I believe support was played game 1 by Wise Guy. Is that correct?
It was indeed, yes.
Yeah, Wise Guy played the Rhaegar, so potential role swap as Wise Guy's sticking on a pup. This time it's Greymane, though.
That is one beastly doggo. Greymane fantastic for this map. And we see the Raynor Malfurion pick up on the side of CCS. And the one thing about Raynor is you can talent him into your race. Like if your team doesn't have a lot of slows to proc Ace in the Hole, which for the most part almost all tanks give you, you can elect to go into that extra race as they ban the Anubarak, not wanting to deal with this crazy aggression from the Maiev Greymane.
Another thing to mention, is it possible that Dive Hard can draft ranged heroes? We see them going with another 3 melee heroes here. Game number 1, we talked during the break together in private about how there was the 5 melee heroes, if you want to count Tracer as one. Still showing just the melee, and they're up against Artanis now, and that blind and that amateur opponent at level 1, 2 things you definitely want when you're facing what's already shown on the other side.
Yeah, Greymane has outstanding race, but he doesn't touch a Raynor, even in the normal build, and then an Artanis with amateur opponent. But like you said, blinds. And then picking the ETC away from Gunslinger instead of banning it. So we see 3 tanks banned and 1 picked up here, possibly looking to choke that out.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of like the Arthas ban that we saw. That made sense. The Johanna ban even maybe to help the Greymane. But they're going to have to go down to maybe some tanks that they weren't wanting, but still pretty darn good ones. They get a Diablo and an Imperious with their 4-5 selections, and I don't think you're too upset if that's the case there, but race is going to be the issue. Do they have enough, Btrain?
Sorry, I was just on the phone with melee.org, and they said give us all our heroes back, as we see yet again 4.5 melees kind of with the Greymane having the human form for Dive Hard, looking to fulfill their legacy and dive hard. But Orphea the pickup from CCS.
What's really going to make them pay and what can be really interesting is a perfectly placed Twilight Dream for Malfurion on all these melee targets. Eyes on Keladorn, see if they've got a play to be had here in game number 2 as we load into Battlefield of Eternity. I want to pose the question to draft. I see some of you voting early already, but hashtag CCS or hashtag DH. Vote for these teams who you think's going to win game number 2. I just can't find a way that Can't Counterpick Stupid's going to lose up against what is just all melee.
So I think it comes down to ultimate usage and wombo combo potential from Dive Hard. I feel like Diablo has to go APOC because ETC is one of those things I've seen used to counter Maevs, because if you drop that big cell, like the big Ring of the Wardens, ETC can just mosh inside of it and counter the entire engage.
Let's go ahead and introduce our teams on the left-hand side. Orphea is going to be played by Silma. Keladorn on Malfurion. We see ETC sported by Valkymer. Thorin switching over to Raynor and heading up to the top lane. Artanis played by Osprey. Ladies and gents, they are Can't Counterpick Stupid.
And on the right for Dive Hard, starting top lane, we have Tin on Imperius. In the bottom, we have Wise Guy on the Greymane, Nuck to the third on Maiev, Curly on Stukov, and Gunslinger on the Lord of Terror.
Big Red hopping on the big pup right now. That mount, one of the newest in the game, Barco Polo. And they're going to go ahead and get started on some wave clear. Let's look at our level 1 talents, and nothing really sticking out too much except on the left-hand side for Raynor. It's going to be Exterminator.
Yeah, and that's what I was calling out. Is we're going to see the 3-man slide from Valkymer after getting flipped. We're going to see the slows coming out from Stukov. Wonder, barely missing that auto for the tether is Nuck. But we do have Stukov going into Spine Launcher, so trying to be that range DPS for his team is Curly.
Yeah, of course we see the amateur opponent as well for Artanis, who's a little battle up top with Imperius, and so far Tin getting the better half of that matchup, but following the action down bottom, Roots locking in Gunslinger playing Diablo. Might have a flipping does on ETC. Valkymer taking a lot of damage from Greymane. There's the Dark Flight and Wise Guy picking up first blood, a minute 15 into Battlefield of Eternity.
ETC, one of those lower health pool tanks, and when you're silenced, you can't get off that healing, that guitar solo, giving him that armor as well. And we see Greymane take advantage of that, but not looking to make a play for their bottom camp, as Stukov is going to back, and they're going to send 2 people up for these bruisers, and they're a tad bit early on this camp.
So I'm looking down at chat. We got 2 votes in for who these viewers think's going to win, and it's a dead split. 1 apiece for Can't Counterpick Stupid and Dive Hard. But so far, it's a camp taken early. That Bruiser camp just grabbed by Dive Hard, and down in the bottom, it's going to be a Siege camp, which is maybe the more optimal one to have this early. Still able to get that Bruiser camp timed out with the objective phase. There's Roots on Diablo, but not nearly enough damage is available right now for CCS. They're going to send Orphea maybe top? I don't know. Where's Orphea going right now? Selma making this rotation deep, maybe onto Imperius as we see Artanis falling. They'll remain able to soak this top lane, but losing Artie, that one's going to hurt right now.
Yeah, kind of an awkward usage there. I was actually watching that top lane when the death happened, and Artanis was on the correct side for his gate, and at about 10% HP decided to swap to the opposite side of Imperius, thus securing his own fatality.
Umbral Bind going to be basically interrupted there with that power slide by ETC. Valkymer, good job keeping his support alive. Immortal spawning 8 seconds. Artanis back on the map, and you see him being dead, getting back and instantly running over to the Bruiser camp, which they probably wanted to start just a little bit sooner. But instead they're going to be late, and look at this. On top of the Immortal already is Dive Hard trying to send us to halftime first.
Yeah, and even if CCS can get a little bit of damage out here on the front, usually for the first Immortal, even if you're losing it, you just try to trade as much damage as you can. As ETC going to try to get the slide out here, is going to get hit by the tether. No silence or follow-up yet, as halftime is over and the Immortals are on their respective sides. Even
with Exterminator, even with amateur opponent, there's no way that Can't Counterpick Stupid can get through this health bar in time. So it's going to be the first Immortal going over to Dive Hard, and about a 25% shield will be on top.
Yeah, and they got that really low, actually, so kind of impressive to see their racing ability, as we're going to see Gunslinger putting out a little bit of a body check onto Valkymer. Nothing too serious, though.
Immortal taking his sweet old time, finally flying over to this bottom lane and starting to smash away in the ranged form while that shield is active. Here we go with Orphea, really the one hero that has enough range to poke that down. Raynor, of course, trying to do his best now that it enters into melee range. But should be a little bit of value onto this wall. I don't think too much more. Valkymer maybe. Actually, ETC's in a lot of trouble and didn't path the proper way. Will fall. 3rd kill of the game here for Dive Hard.
Yeah, decided to slide through that Immortal and burn the face melt as well. And with that, I think Dive Hard looking to get the flip onto the Jimmy, put him in the silence machine, and or not Jimmy, excuse me, Orphea, as another hero down, and now they get this fort.
Yeah, I just want to note, that's exactly why Stukov is doing so well in NGS this season. You drop the silence underneath something like a Diablo flip, and heroes just can't get out. It's too much to deal with, and when the follow-up's there from the rest of the team, it's guaranteed kills in most occasions.
Yeah, and I think right now this game, you're kind of on life support if you are CCS, as you know, you had the better race comp early. You have better means to defend against an Immortal than your opponents, and the first one just getting so much value just due to a couple slight errors, and you know that's really looking, you know, the experience gap isn't as much, but losing a fort on a 2-lane map is a little bit more condemning as it gives you way less map vision and control.
So finally, some macro going to be played by Dive Hard. They grab the Khazra camp in the top lane, still with 4 heroes here, charging in, finding ETC. It's just Valkymer though, and he's able to walk away with a little bit of armor provided. I love the positioning. Nuck just waiting for it, and let's see if this Umbral Bind's going to come out. Here it comes, pulling the ETC, and that's not going to be nearly enough coming out there from, as you like to call, Nuck to the third, as Mayev's now going to take some damage herself.
Yeah, triple Nuck Baker here, just, you know, stunting on the Maiev, getting the good flank. Tether, unfortunately, only hits 1. And Tin in the bot lane matchup, losing to Coffin Hitler. We see why I ban her every game, because she's OP.
I like the mount, too. It fits the Skinergy, and I think overall the, I guess, lore or background story of Orphea kind of fits. Headed to halftime, and it's really close, and now we're in a position where this should probably favor the team that has Amateur Opponent and Exterminator. We'll see if CCS can finish the job here, and it looks like it's just going to be a race. No defense coming out from Dive Hard. In my opinion, big mistake, as you see these talents doing work up top for CCS. They get the Punisher by 343 health. Shout out to 343 Studios announcing Master Chief Collection over on PC. It's going to be coming to Steam later this year. But 343, the only health remaining, and that's enough to grab this Immortal. I call it a Punisher, it's an Immortal.
And they send 5 up here to defend because they have level 10 advantage. This Immortal doesn't really get value for CCS as much as it does just negate Dive Hard from getting it for themselves. We see ETC soaking in the bottom lane, trying to get 10 for his team, but yeah, this thing gets a tower and nothing else.
This is stage dive. This is stage dive. There's no reason ETC's bottom lane if it's not. We'll see if he wants to get back up here, but right now it's 5 heroes with the big lift by Imperius, pulling back Malfurion, and Keladorn can't survive, or can he? Twilight Dream hitting 3, and that's just what I said during the draft. If they can hit a T-Dream, they're gonna get kills, and it ends up being 3. Just trading out the Malfurion death, well worth it there for Can't Counterpick Stupid.
The sleeper has awakened. Malfurion coming through, living for so long after hitting a Twilight Dream of just the ages there, and we see Gunslinger trying to defend top lane with ETC still bottom. Mosh Pit locked in.
You know what I call Malfurion when he gets pissed off? I call him Malfurious, and right there, he said, yeah, you can put me in the air, but when I fall, I'm hitting my R button, and your whole team's going to be in trouble. Fantastic kind of state of mind to keep himself in and have that presence to make that play happen. Still, though, really close. It's 11-11. XP is almost deadlocked, and the kills are still in favor of Dive Hard, now looking to move on to this Khazra camp.
Yeah, as we see Imperius check the bush, gonna get hit by the root of the big Orphea damage, gonna come through, he's not gonna have the shield, and oh my sweet lord almighty, the deletion of the Angel, and I was about to compliment how each team decided to throw their tanks in the off lane so the wet noodle battle could commence, but up here we see Imperius checking a bush, doing it all right, but getting knocked out cold.
Objective phase number 3, with that second one going over to our blue team and this slight XP lead too. They're looking like they're going to be set up to start this and head us to halftime, and with those talents, those level 1 talents, they're going to be something to keep an eye on for the entire game. And you see how fast the burn is, sending it to halftime before barely any health was removed off their Immortal. We'll see where they're going to fly to, but huge advantage right now for CCS.
Race is on the safe side. The only issue is they have a camp pushing top lane against him, so they have to go clear. But with such a lead, as we're going to see the big charge in coming from Diablo, going to actually drop the APOC a little bit late. Cage coming through, Malfurion is going to be silenced by the Stukov silences. We see Devouring Pit, the Shark Tank getting so much value. Orphea putting out massive amounts of damage. The Hyperion coming through, massive shove is going to come out, going to get interrupted, not getting much value. As we see this Immortal race down so quickly as it's already dead and it's full HP.
And they're still in here. They don't have a Twilight Dream or any heroics except the Mosh Pit, which hits onto 3. It's Imperius who saves the day, but they lost Greymane, and now this chase is on from CCS. Stunning up the Diablo Gunslinger. Looks like he might be next to fall, and that will be a reset on souls if they can do it, and that's exactly what just happened. Diablo's dead, back in 3 seconds without souls. Down in the bottom lane, this Immortal with a full shield, ready to push on the fort.
Thorin, I saw you. You didn't type it in all chat like you should have, but I saw you turning Greymane into a barbecue chicken. Hitting that knockback into the mosh pit was absolutely cash money.
Immortal found its way to a keep wall, and it's the bottom lane. Still up top is Artanis. He has a blind, and it's a global ability if he wants to throw it out, but so far holding it as he knows his team has his advantage with the Immortal threatening on this keep wall. They can just stand behind it and try to make a fight happen, but here comes Maiev potentially looking for it. No, gonna pull it back. Still standing is this Immortal getting through the well. Now moving on to the keep. Still half of its HP remaining. ETC power sliding in, finding one. There's the follow-up roots, but not enough damage. A stun. Not going to connect either. The APOC whiffs, and finally the keep is destroyed. And with that, moving forward, is with the power slide too, Diablo's still in trouble and falls.
And the interrupt on the Imperius ultimate with the face melt. Valkymer really showing everybody that he knows how to turn it up to 11.
Do you stay in here 20 seconds until Diablo, and a big swap means Imperius is down. Oh, the Warden's Cage, only thing saving Nuck. And at this point, a little bit of a delay onto the core damage. I'd start backing up, but it looks like CCS wants to close it out right here, right now.
Yeah, Thorin getting this knockback. They have the zoning from the Malfurion Roots. Diablo is back up and Imperius is here, but the big damage. Mosh is actually going to get put on full cooldown as we're going to see the Shark Tank coming out with the zoning. Curly going to get that a triple reset. Artanis looking for the swap, not going to get it. Core health is at 69 gotchi%, and everybody trying to get out here as the triple root comes down. We're going to see the blind. Core at 67. They ruined the count, but core damage. They got top fort. They got bottom keep. Everything is in the hands of Can't Counterpick Stupid.
Disengage was very good there, able to get out right at the perfect moment, and props to our Artanis player Osprey throwing out that blind during the retreat, making sure that the damage didn't lock him in or get them off their mounts that they were trying to get on. So here we go with a keep down talent tier lead right now for CCS. Immortals activating in 20 seconds, a nice little lead right now for our blue team.
And with Imperius stuck bottom and level 16 talent tier advantage, CCS can just free clear this top camp that was just taken from Dive Hard. And if you're Dive Hard here, you're really feeling the effects of not having a lot of range damage, as that Immortal just absolutely tore up all the defenses that they had.
And once again, they're going to be late to the show, and this comp once again will send it to halftime in the blink of an eye. That time, no damage on the blue Immortal. A huge lead in what already is an advantage on the map for CCS. They're looking to get their third Immortal of the game, and with it might end up being the second keep for them.
If this Immortal is 100% HP, it ends the game.
It is. That's full shield.
That's full shield. That's literally not a single damage point knocked off for Dive Hard. There's no way this Immortal doesn't end the game. They don't have the range damage to compete. They're down a level 16 talent tier. It would take an absolute glorious defense from Dive Hard, which, albeit they could put together, they have magnificent tools to separate some of these fights, especially with the Imperius kidnap and, you know, with the shove to get rid of the ETC. They could still pull this off, but it is going to be very difficult.
To add a little insult to injury, down in the bottom lane, pushing with catapults will be that Bruiser camp, so that'll threaten the core, which is already sitting at only 2/3 of its health remaining. Here's the Immortal on this keep wall top lane. Looking to get through the second keep is CCS, and such a huge shield. Good roots there by Malfurion, but the wall wasn't down, so the slide couldn't come from ETC. The swap's going to miss Artanis as well. Hyperion on the keep, and with the Immortal still shielded, this keep is definitely going down. There's the blind, and the big mosh pit hitting 3. A lot of damage from the Eternal Feast. 1, 2, a double kill so far. Looking for more, and All of it they're going to get here with this Immortal on the core. Game number 2, and the series is going to be handed over to Can't Counterpick Stupid.
Caledorn on the Malfurion, getting engaged on, thrown into the wall, pops the Twilight Dream, puts down the roots, and feeds all of Orphea's little fish with the Shark Tank coming out. The root secures so much value and so much AoE damage for that entire sequence.
The roots are on fire. Malfurion looking good and keeping CCS ahead of their what looks to be division rival right now in the standings, Dive Hard. They're going to leapfrog them into first place. So yeah, I have
outstanding.
I got Valkymer messaging me. Let's head on over to an NGS lobby and try to get him in for an interview.
Alrighty, I'll meet you in one.
All right, we are over on the NGS Discord. I think Btrain, are you muted right now, or am I just reading that wrong?
Yeah, I use toggle mute.
Oh, toggle mute. Man, that's fancy stuff. I need to think about toggle muting. Let me just make sure Valkymer knows where we're at. NGS Discord lobby 1. Sorry, I had that chat over the screen. You want to look at these stats, Twitch. What a great set that was. Great drafting there in game number 2. Up to you. And our talent screen, of course, if you want to check those out, most notably and most effective here. Raynor and Artanis at level 1 getting Exterminator, an amateur opponent. Allowed them to win a lot of those. And actually now joining us, we do see Caledorn, the support player tonight for Can't Counterpick Stupid. How you feeling after that win over the division leaders, Dive Hard?
Oh, man, that feels good. It's adrenaline. I'm shaking. Oh. Wow.
So certainly was a top build match of the week. And if you know Murda, I'm going to hop on all the best matches if I can find them. I did a little research and I was like, wow, number 1 versus number 2 in Division C West. Definitely want to check that out. And it lived up to it. It was a really good match. I think both probably could have gone both ways. Maybe game 2 was really in your favor, especially late game. But how did you guys feel up against this team? Do you feel like you actually were the better team, or was it a lot closer than maybe the viewers saw?
I think it was a lot closer than the viewers saw. I think that we did some good scouting, and those were some sniped bans. We definitely targeted with those bans.
I know Btrain was here co-casting with me, and he said, wow, the Phoenix ban, the Kel'Thuzad ban, like they're targeting some of these players from Dive Hard, and it seemed like it maybe threw them off. Do you think it threw them off their drafting at all?
I think it did. I mean, even in the second round of drafting, he commented that he was feeling a little sniped there. He was he was like, nobody plays Phoenix.
But I mean, when he's played well, it can be a really strong hero. You guys ended up sending them both games, we noted, into a composition that had, by our math, 4.5 melee heroes in each of those games. Did you guys take notice of that too?
Absolutely. We actually commented on that. That was great for Stukov on the first map. It's pretty easy to shut down a team when they're all melee, and you can silence all of them at once.
Game number 2, they move into the Stukov. What was the look you wanted to take into that melee without him?
Sorry, what was that?
Just asking what the game plan was, not having the Stukov game number 3 against a similar composition with all that melee.
You know, a Stukov, I feel very comfortable on Stukov, and it was a little bit sniped pick. I was like, oh man, but I went to some old trusty backups that I had available, and I decided that Malfurion was my boy for the second game.
You go ahead, Btrain.
I just want to piggyback off that real quick before we segue to another part. But you said Stukov does a good job of silencing an entire team, and you know what else does that? Twilight Dream.
Wait. Hold on. Yeah. So, Wrath of the NGS, it lifts you up in the air top lane. Tell me what's going through your mind at that moment, because it ended up being a pretty sick play, a 3-for-1 trade.
Yeah. So, what ended up happening was I was a little far out. I admit it. I was trying to decide what my my heroic was going to be. You know, I was fighting it over in my mind. I got picked up. I got slammed down and Twilight Dream, and then hit it. Boom. And then
I didn't even realize you didn't have it selected to that point, but I talked about, like, wow, we're up against all this melee. This is like a wet dream for a Twilight Dream Malfurion.
oh, absolutely. It was a snap response. I was up in the air. I was like, okay, I gotta. There's no choice. I can't even discuss it anymore. I landed and vigorously mashed my R key until, well, you guys see the results.
I'm sure you'll go back and check the replay and have a nice smile to yourself on that one.
I think I even survived that engage. That was kind of a shock to me.
No, you fell. It was a 3-for-1 though. It was definitely a good trade, but you were close to surviving though. It was really close, but
I survived a lot longer than I expected to, at least.
1,000,000%.
Yeah, definitely. So looking forward now, Division C West is basically in full steamroll ahead mode, and can't counterpick stupid. After this, you guys are in first place. Who's left after Dive Hard that maybe you're looking at as a potential to knock you guys off the spot?
You know, I'm not our researcher. I think DatTask though is a solid team. I'm not gonna put anyone out though, because you know it was a rough match, and we didn't win our last week against. Oh shoot, who was it? I'm spacing it now. We lost against. I can't even remember.
Was it Rush B or Lurk Patrol?
Lurk Patrol.
Lurk Patrol.
It was Lurk Patrol, yeah. So
Rush B currently sitting 4th. Lurk Patrol sitting in 6th place right now. But I think Division C West, there's a lot of interesting storylines here, because a lot of teams returning, a lot of new teams as well, and kind of seeing how the landscape is evolving. Maybe a bit surprising to some of our viewers, but what do you have to say to maybe some people listening about your team? Is this a team that is the real deal, or is there some way to stop it? Don't tell us how to stop it, but do you think maybe there's a way that you guys are countered?
I think that we have a strength and a lot of variability, to be honest with you. I'm not our support player, but I can play support, obviously, as needed. I think that a lot of... I think that there is a way to stop us, and I think it is possible, but, you know, I'm not going to give any hints to that, so...
Perfect answer. Diplomatic, and, you know, you humored me with a response, so I appreciate it. Well, Btrain, you got anything else to add? Any more questions?
I don't. I just hope you really enjoy some of the analogies I use.
We lost against ginormous Jaegers.
Oh, that's right, ginormous Jaegers.
Malcolmer dropping in with the hashtag facts. Appreciate it.
And then the hashtag dipping right the heck out.
Well, hey, Ketladorn, I do want to thank you for coming in for this interview, and huge congratulations. But before we let you go, you know the drill. It's time for some shout-outs.
That's right. So my first shout-out is to Valkymir's mom. Hi, Valkymir's mom, because that's what he does, and I'm the one here. Shout out to my teammates that were not here to play. Witsend, RTB, Avocado, Beauty. Oh, that's right. That's 9 now. That's how many we have, right? 9.
Just make a second team.
And shout outs to our opponents. They played really well, and we were kind of a little bit scared, but you know, it was a great match, and I highly enjoyed it.
An absolute thriller. And you know, once again, as I said, this means a lot, because late game, if it comes down to a tiebreaker, you guys own it over Dive Hard. Super thrilled to see where you guys are going to go from here, and wish you the best of luck throughout the remaining regular season.
Oh, wait, I am told one thing I have to say is that
Sure.
we can't be counterpicked, because you can't counterpick our stupid, apparently.
There it is.
Amen to that. Huge shout out to those guys from CCS. Congrats on the win. Btrain, before we go, let the viewers know where they can find you.
All right, so I'll break it down for everybody. Nice, real quick and slow. Btrain 704 is everything. MySpace, LinkedIn, Tinder, Bumper, Grinder, MySpace, Facebook, Twitch.tv, and my personal favorite, eBay. I'm trying to sell a trampoline, so if you snap up on there, I'll get you a great deal.
Is there free shipping or local delivery only?
I'm in Alaska. You're paying double for shipping.
Okay. A little extra to the continental U.S. If you want to buy from my eBay page, I'm down in the lower 48. But hey, find me over on Twitter at MurdaRG. Of course, here on Twitch, MurdaRG. On YouTube, MurdaRG. You can MurdaRG me all day, but just don't at me, BB. I love you guys. I'll be back on Thursday, but in a different place. We're back again for more Thursday Night Showdown over on twitch.tv/Nexus Gaming Series, where I'm joined by my good friend Ghost Dunk. There's his fancy pin right there. You'll love the man, and you're going to see him with me casting some big booty plays on Thursday night for the showdown. Hope to see you there. Until then, I'm Murda. It's been Btrain with me all night, and joining for the interview, we had Kelladorn. Congratulations to CCS. They're on top tonight. We'll see you guys next time.
Thank you, Murda.